Start recording first. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today in our afternoon session for reinforced concrete design. Really happy to have you guys. And I'm a little bit better now. I think I can come back to normal on a Monday, show you my faces instead of this running nose and everything. So sorry about it. And we're going to talk about the exam. Okay. I just had a short quick chat with Dr. Snee from the other session, and we have decided to have the exam in about 2 weeks. Okay, in about 2 weeks. So I think this is the best timing right now to review your materials for the exam. Okay, so I want to go through some of the list that you might want to consider for your review process. Okay, now we have decided first the format of exam is going to be online. The format of the exam is going to be online. Okay, and now we're going to give you guys enough time for the exam. Okay, so right now we're looking at approximately 2 to 3 hours. Approximately 2 to 3 hours. But the exam only takes you about 1 hour. So the exam is pretty short, but you have ample time. You have ample time to work on it. All right. So I know some of us have accommodations. Unfortunately, we already given a lot of time for it. So you will be required to turn your exam in 3 hours or 2 to 3 hours as everybody else. Okay. Secondly, I know that we oftentimes require you to upload your documents. So you might have to scan it and convert that to PDF and upload, which will take some time. So I strongly suggest we do that half an hour before exam is over, right? Half an hour before the exam is over. So you have ample time to write it, scan it, and then upload it. Okay, all right, so that's about the types, sorry, the time for the exam is about 2 to 3 hours. For those of you who comes in late, let me say this again, exam is gonna be 2 to 3 hours, but the content's only about 1 hour of time for you to solve. So it should be fairly straightforward, okay? Now, regarding to the resources available for you to solve the exams, you are allowed to refer to textbook, code, and notes, okay? But only the three resources. You are not allowed to converse or communicate with your friends and classmates and whoever, okay, to work on the exam. It has to be done in the individual manner. And some of you might have thoughts of smart ways of working together and still, trying to bypass the restrictions. And I had to tell you the truth. I am particularly vigilant and alert about this kind of scenarios. And in the past, I have found several ways to track down this collaboration type of thing. So don't do it, okay? Don't do it. I can see it through. The homework were graded by the grader, but the exam is going to be graded by me, myself personally. So among the three exams, this is the very best opportunity for you to make a good impression for this course. So I really want you to treat very seriously. Okay. Now the other thing about this exam is that this is exam covering the flexure design and the basic 3 chapters we went through. So if you recall what we have learned so far, right? We have learned chapter 1, concrete structures, RC structures, why RC structure is better than steel, right? Think about why we always prefer RC structures, right? Now we went into talking about the materials, right? The concrete and the reinforcement, and we all know that the concrete is good for compression, reinforcement is good for tension, right? So these are the basic knowledges. And we went a little bit about design, loading, 1.2 depth plus 1.6 life, okay? And all these 3 chapters, you want to review them because we will have questions about them, right? So now what we learned afterwards is the basic concept of flexure design, right? The bending, analysis of singly reinforced sections, analysis of doubly reinforced sections, design of singly reinforced sections, I mean design for reinforcement, design of doubly reinforced section, that means design for reinforcement, and also design for a singly reinforced section without given section geometries, okay, without given section geometries, basically homework number 4. Okay, so these contents will be covered in the exam. These content will be covered in the exam. Okay, we're going to finish the T-beam on Monday, and we'll talk about irregular sections next week. We'll finish that next week. So the exam will stop covering irregular section and TB. Okay, so specifically, you want to emphasize your review on these items, okay? The effective depths, definition of concrete compressive strength, property of a concrete, and great information, yield strength of the steel, Young's modulus of the concrete and steel, modulus of rupture for concrete, right? All the basic property, how we test them. Is it 7-day, 14-day, 28-day? What type of specimen? The cylinder, a beam, for what properties? Okay, these will be tested. Now, think about in a singular reinforced section, right? How we learned it, right? What is the failure strength of a concrete, right? What's the strain distribution in the section? What is the strain in the steel, right? What is the tension control limit? What is the transition zone? What is compressive zone, compression control zone? And what is the corresponding strength reduction factor, right? Strength reduction factor, right? And think about the bar detailing, right? In the vertical direction, what is the spacing requirement? Horizontal direction, what is the spacing requirement? Whenever we have stirrups, how do you account the stirrups in terms of minimum beam width? Okay, now there's also a table A5 in a textbook that helps you to find out the beam width, and you need to do your own calculation to find out beam width and see which one applies, right? Things like that of nature, right? Now, for the single reinforced section design, we normally will give you the section geometry, and you have a reinforcement, and you're trying to find out what's the capacity of it, right? And whether that capacity meets the applied moment, MU. All right, so think about the procedure, how that is done. For analysis of doubly reinforced section, we require you to find out the compression from the concrete and the compression from the compressive reinforcement. And remember, we did the compression equal to tension type of business. We iterate, right? Goes around several cycles by changing the compressive zone C to ensure the concrete compression force equal to the tension force, right? And in the exam, you need to show the full work, okay? I know we have done some Excel in the homework. That's fine, that's all good. But in the exam, I want to see the handwritten process, okay? Don't just give me a table. I need to see every step through your iteration. And I will tell you in the exam problem how many iterations at least I want to see, okay? Just don't give me a lucky number, say, hey, you know what, I guess the first time I got it right. I don't usually buy that, okay? And I'll tell you, I'll specify exact number of iterations I need to see for compression equal to tension for the analysis of doubly reinforced section. Okay, so now coming down to design of reinforcement for singular reinforced section and doubly reinforced section, in the exam, we will not, repeat, we will not test you to design a doubly reinforced section without knowing the section geometries. Okay, we will not ask you to design a doubly reinforced section without knowing section geometries. I repeat, okay? You are only required to know how to design a singular reinforced section without given geometries, okay? Specifically, think about it, right? Normally, we will give you the width of the beam, or you will need to know the column that sits underneath it to determine the width of the beam. And then you have to use the moment capacity MU and VMN and R resistance factors and alpha, the ratio between width and depth ratio, to find out the depth required, okay, for the section and proceed from there, so on and so forth. Okay, so you see, it's not a whole lot, but it can go wrong, right? You know, Murphy's law, there's so many details. So what can go wrong will go wrong in exam under pressure. Okay, so let me reiterate. We will have 4 problems, basically, okay? We'll have 4 problems. The first problem will be multiple choices. And this section will probably gonna be put it on Canvas. We're probably gonna put on Canvas so you can select your choices, okay? Now within this problem, half of them will come from chapter 1 to chapter 3, the basic knowledge of concrete properties, steel and reinforced structures. Half of them will come from singular reinforced sections, strain analysis, depths, detailing of the bars, more conceptual problems, okay? So pay attention, close attention to homework number 2, for problem number 1, the second part of it, okay? Pay attention to homework number 2, okay? All right, so this is first problem. Now, Well, I would say actually first two problems because this has two parts. Now we'll have the other two problems are in hand solving manner. And these two problems are it's going to be singular reinforced section. There will be one problem, analysis and design. And there will be another problem about doubly reinforced section. Okay. I'm not going to be specific about it yet because we haven't decided what exactly is going to be on it for doubly reinforced section. But these two problems will be handwritten. You'll be given the problem and you write it on the sheet, scan it, upload it, and we'll grade it. Okay, so let me repeat myself again. This is very important to you apparently. So we have four, if I want to be specific, four problems, right? Number one, we'll cover multiple choice from chapter 1 to 3. Number two, multiple choice based on single reinforced section, okay, and more conceptual and qualitative, okay. And third one, or the number three, is the analysis and design for single reinforced section, okay. And the last one is analysis design for doubly reinforced section, okay. So you can start review process like right now, okay. Don't wait till the last minute. All right. Okay. So that's what I know so far about the exam. All right. We'll give you more information as we are developing. The exam hasn't been finalized yet. Okay. Now the good news is I will start do review session next week. Okay. Now I know Thursday we have our fall break, so we won't have classes. So we're gonna do the review on Tuesday. Sorry, on Wednesday. Okay. On Wednesday we'll do a review. Now on Monday I'll finish the T-beam design and talk about the irregular section design. Okay, talk about the irregular section design. Okay. Now, actually, with that, I have no news to share with you today, and this is really it for our today's lecture. So if you have any specific questions, you can ask right now or stay behind. And I have some meetings scheduled, I believe, with some of you, and welcome to stay behind after the lectures. Okay. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, Dr. Wu, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When did you say that the test would be again?
2 weeks. So it's
Okay.
probably gonna be the week after next week. And it's going to be on Thursday. Just the specific time we haven't decided yet. It should be either from 1 to 4 or 2 to 5.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other information you guys need? Any other question about the exam? About homework as well, yeah?
Yeah, will homework solutions be posted?
No, I talked about this I discussed this about this with other Professor Dr. Sneed, and we finally reached the conclusion that we're not going to post the solution for the homework, unfortunately. Okay. Now, regardless is my decision or her decision or our decision together, we'll say this: if you have specific question about your homework while you're reviewing it, you can contact me and we can set a time and discuss about it. Okay, so if you don't have any specific question about the homework, then I would just assume you fully understand how that is solved. Okay. All right, so let me just add one more thing about the homework. Sorry, about the review. So this is the typical process I review for my exams back in my old days as an undergrad student. I will flip through the lecture notes first, watch, well, we didn't have the video back then, we have the audio recording. So listen or watch the recorded lectures up to that point, okay? And then I will start solving the homework like they're brand new problem again, okay? Don't just look at it, solve it yourself, all right? And so once I've done the last step of solving the homework, if I have any question or problem, I will just tell the professor I have this problem and ask him to or her to help me solve it. Okay, so this is the step you follow through. And let me emphasize this. This exam, first exam of RC structure, right? RC structure design is critical. 80% of students tell me that it's this exam determining their fate in this class. So guys, folks, right? Please put your time and effort into review and process. Okay, all right. Any other questions for me? Anything? Guys, anything? All quiet? All right, okay. So now I will assume you guys understand about the exam now and start preparing for it. And on Monday, next week, I will continue the T-beam design analysis and we'll talk about irregular section. Most likely, like I said again, you won't see T-beam and irregular section in the exam as a problem-solving questions, but you might see some conceptual problems for T-beam analysis and irregular sections. Okay, so we'll see how far we get. But I'm confident to say that most of the materials for the exam has been covered to this point, so you can start your reviewing process. All right. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Are we good? All right, so today is kind of easy, so you can go back to your study and review. And if you have any question, next Tuesday, 2 to 3, office hour, I'll be there again, okay? I had one student again this time, well, in the office hour. Like I said, I think I was very helpful. He can solve the problem better after I give him some tips. So I strongly recommend you guys be there. Even if you don't have any specific question, just listening to other students' question, I believe will benefit your study itself. Okay, so that's just my suggestions. All right. If there are no other questions, students who had appointment with me, please stay behind. I want to talk to you about your personal progress in this course. Okay. Other than that, thank you very much, and see you on Monday.